Mike, I can't believe we're ever going to discuss this story, but it's a relevant story. Bicycling. Lance Armstrong back in the news. You know, his teammates just, they love, I think it's actually to give them attention because he got all the attention, all the accolades before. But these guys must be really desperate to keep bringing up this story, or it must be on their conscience. But another teammate is now accusing him of taking steroids when they did as well. It seems like they're doing the noble thing by admitting to this, yet they cheated in too.
Well, I mean, I don't know how noble they feel, but I mean, there's so many things about this. I mean, the evidence seems to be mounting, and you know, it's hard to believe. It's getting harder and harder to believe Lance Armstrong, I think. But on the other side of it is that you know, these guys are, I mean, sort of like what's in it for them, which I think is what you're saying. You know, I just want to. This has always been in the back of my mind about this Lance Armstrong story. I did a story a number of years ago about just the general issue of performance-enhancing drugs, and I talked to a guy who's a faculty member up at Penn State, a guy named Charles Yasalis, who is considered one of the top authorities in the world on these performance-enhancing drugs, and he said that substance that's known as EPO, which you hear about all the time with these endurance athletes, that increases your performance by 5%. And that's the difference between finishing in the Tour de France. That's the difference between finishing first and finishing like 132nd.
Wow.
And when he said that, I said, well, now you understand what that's implying. And he what you were implying is there's no way you can win the Tour de France if you're not using these drugs and if you're not cheating. And he said, I don't believe you can win the Tour de France without cheating.
I think just take a swig of 5-hour energy and you'll be fine.
Oh, there you go.
You mentioned evidence mounting. What extra evidence is there? I mean, that's the thing. Lance Armstrong, these guys, another guy admits that he and Lance were doing this together. It's just his word. There's been no blood tests that have come up against him. There's been no other evidence, what I call true evidence, not just some guy saying something.
Well,
that's I keep going these guys' words. Well, fine, but
so you believe Lance Armstrong?
I don't care. I think there were so many people that were inspired by him.
But I mean, regardless of whether you care.
I believe him. I guess I don't want to know the truth in this case.
Yeah, see,
that's part of it, and I think I hate to feel that way, but that's where I'm at. Yeah. So many people were inspired by him. I mean, this guy helped to get people healthy from a horrible disease.
That's what makes this weird. That's what makes
and
this.
I don't want to know the truth. I don't want to know that he lied.
That's what makes this thing unique. I think is that he's such a positive influence, and again, I'm gonna say as I've often said that don't look to sports for your role models. But in this case, because of the uniqueness of it with the disease, it's hard not to look at it that way, and that's why this is grim, and that's why Lance Armstrong, to look at it really harshly, maybe that's why he maintains the lie. Because, just for practical reasons, it's a tough spot for anybody to be in. It's a tough spot for him to be. Remember when we were little kids, our moms and dads always told us, if you lie, it comes back to haunt you. It builds. You have to tell another lie in order to cover that lie. And maybe that's something that's going on here. But I just keep going back to this guy from this doctor who told me you can't win the Tour de France without cheating.
How many times did he win it now? 7?
7.
Yeah.
There you go.
Charles Barkley becomes very profound. He's the one that said years ago, I'm not a role model. And it comes back around. It just seems that everybody that turns in Lance, though, has a book coming out. Floyd Landis, all these different guys have had something.
Does Hamilton have a book coming out?
I think he's got. Was it just on his conscience this whole time? Do these guys need money that bad? I just wonder what the motive is to come out now and bring it up. I mean, I guess I just don't want to know.